Libra, welcome. It's August 2019. Dadhichi here from astrology.com.au. Good to have your company again, and for those of you that are new, I hope you enjoy our brief synopsis. I call it the Oracle Express. We normally spend about 6 or 7 minutes taking a look at what I consider the main transits. Look, a person who does too many things ends up doing nothing. That's shown by the strong conjunction of many planets here in your 11th house. And what that means is that you're probably a little split in terms of what it is you're trying to achieve right now. Better to focus on one thing. Incidentally, the 11th house has to do with friendships. So there's a strong focal point here in this 11th house, especially having a new moon here as the month starts, to the type of friends you have. And having Mars here is not always a welcome planet, because it can show some sort of disputes. Overall, however, all the planets do well in this 11th house. And I have 3 of them there, and you'll see later on, Mercury's going to move into this area as well, that you can achieve some of your objectives, but what I'm saying is that just narrow the field down and prioritize what it is that you want. Finances are shown by the transit of the moon in the 2nd house here, August 8. Communications and negotiations will take place shortly after this, and it's a good time to ratify anything that you've not been clear about, especially because you see here these goals are fortified by the blue line, the trine, Moon and Jupiter conjunction in your 3rd house. Very, very nice, even though Jupiter is retrograde at this time. You'll notice Saturn continues along with Pluto and Ketu, the past karmic point, in your 4th house of family affairs, and here the moon makes its entry into this area, bringing with it a bit of a heavy tone, I would say. You've got to keep it light. If you dredge up the past too much, and I'm going to get to that in a minute because there's a lot of the past coming in the future by virtue of where these planets are transiting. You shift out of this around the 13th when the moon moves into the 14th, sorry. This is a more creative cycle, especially given that it's a full moon, and your love affairs, relationships with nearest and dearest, especially children, and your creative enterprises can do much better. Keep your eye here, because I mentioned a moment ago that the placement of planets in the 12th house have to do with your past, dredging up the past, reviewing your past and having a look at what it is in your past that's brought you to where you are. First, a word from our sponsor. No, seriously, first, have a look at this 6th house, Moon Neptune. I want you to be careful of the type of things you're working with, the environment and the people. You know, people can be just as toxic as the environment that you work in, because this 6th house is a health-related aspect associated with co-workers. There's the first big one, Mars transiting into this 12th house. Mars has to do with your partnerships. If you're married, it has to do with your marital partner. 12th house is confinement, hospitals, losses, expenses, and secret enemies. So there may be something that your partner's doing this month that you're not at all happy about. Look how it's linked also to the 2nd house, which is your finance sector. So get on top of this, Libra. Talk to your partner. Here you see the 2nd of this quadruple event, which is Venus moving into this 12th house. You've got to get a handle on this. It's how you spend your money. It's how you expend your time. It's how you give your resources to other people. And because this is linked to your most significant partner or business partner, because it has to do with business partnerships, that you need to look at the way money is being expended. There on the 23rd, the entry of the Sun into this same zone accentuates and fortifies what I'm talking about here. Keep your eye out here for the moon as it makes square aspects or sextile aspects. Here we have a better sort of combination of aspects forming. This shows that this may work better for you. You sort of start to get a handle on how to expend your time and your resources. 12th house also has to do with spirituality, yoga, meditation, and bringing yourself into alignment with yourself. In the ancient Vedic system of astrology, this 12th house is called the Moksha Sthana, moksha being liberation, self-realization. Sthana means house. So this is the place of self-realization, self-appraisal, meditation, seclusion, So this could be a time when your spiritual endeavours are well served by travelling to a nice, quiet, secluded spot and just giving yourself a little bit of time out to reappraise where you are. Notice Moon will also join Mercury, which moves in there just around the end of the month, and it creates a new moon in this area. So everything I've just mentioned regarding that seclusion, spirituality, is the focal point just as the end of August comes around. So first period of the month, 11th house, getting your ideals, friendships in order, and then towards the end of the month, pulling back and working on yourself and giving yourself that much needed rest if that's what you need. Do join me again next month here. In the meantime, don't forget we've got more on the month of August, day-by-day readings and the year, what's left of it, at astrology.com.au, and I thoroughly recommend, number one, you subscribe, number two, get a reading with me if you want to get a bit more detail and personalization to the reading, which is based more on the time and place of birth rather than just the overall general sun sign reading. See you next month and good luck. Take care.